All right, everybody. We're going to be covering someone that we haven't talked about in a little while, but it's going to feel a bit nostalgic because, you know, it's a classic staple of the channel. We're talking about Blair White today. We haven't checked in on her in a while. The last thing I heard about Blair White was that it was pretty much guaranteed that she and Alex Jones were. Let me see if I can find the meme. It's been confirmed they f***ed. You don't have to say it. You don't need to say alleged. Wait, it's confirmed? Okay, so like full on. All right, cool. So yeah, Alex Jones got exposed as a chaser a long time ago. Pretty interesting. Also, Blair White's literally married. Like, she literally has a husband and also confirmed had sex with Alex Jones. So she does the whole trans conservative trad wife thing. But then on top of that is non-committal to her husband sexually? Uh-huh. Okay, I see. It really is all just virtue signaling when these people try to front how how traditional they are. Behind the scenes, these people do tend to be massive degenerates. Obviously, one of my favorite examples are the leaked DMs that PJW, Paul Joseph Watson, sent to Lauren Southern. Like, all of these people, no matter how much of like a chill trad vibe they try to put up, they're all just massive weirdos behind the scenes. Paul Joseph Watson said, "Can't answer? Fraud. Disappointed. So disappointed. You can't answer. Pathetic. Jesus, just allow the comments. It's not hard. Pathetic. How dare you? F*** off. Leave me alone." One unread message. "Thought high of you, but after tonight, no. Just have a family life and enjoy and protect your child. Much respect for that. But otherwise, f*** off." And this is following him making, like, several sexual advances towards her that were rejected. Just truly amazing shit. Hey, tipster. Just truly amazing shit. These people are massive losers behind the scenes, and I need you guys to remember that. And I want you to keep that in the back of your mind as you watch this video. It'll be an important anchor to reality. But on top of that, I want to bring you guys back to a story that honestly, an unfortunate amount of people have totally forgotten at this point, and that is the story that, my friends, is the story of Blair White's controversies. You see, she's just a massive lying, like, grifter who has repeatedly done the, like, stereotypical YouTuber apology video in response to every horrific thing she's done that's actually managed to get some pushback even from her own audience. One of the biggest examples of this was the drama that happened with a trans bodybuilder, I believe, by the name of Janae Marie Kroc. You see, Blair White, Janae Marie Kroc, I believe at the time, was like somewhat newly out as trans, and Blair White decided to use that fact as an attack against her. Showed a few, I think Blair White found unflattering photos of Janae, and basically tried to argue that Janae was a man who had just suddenly started identifying as a woman to compete against women in bodybuilding. Problem is, though, Janae Marie Kroc actually had a fairly large following and the ability to defend herself against lies and misinfo being spread about her, which she did. You see, Janae had no intentions and never did bodybuild against women, and was not going to be like using this as a way to compete against women at all. I believe she was actually going to continue competing against men, if I am not mistaken. And on top of that, like, just a bunch of the other things that Blair had said were just proven false, and a massive amount of pushback came out against Blair, and Blair was forced to apologize in a tearful apology and take it back. There's also an old apology she did for, like, she claimed that another trans YouTuber, Riley J. Dennis, wasn't really trans because she claimed wasn't on hormones, but Riley J. Dennis was in fact on hormones for a year, and so Blair White did this crying apology. We should watch this crying apology Blair White did back in the day. This is 6 years ago, before we watch the video now, where she is presently bullying trans people even more vitriolically than she did back then. Because Blair's whole thing is to basically say the most horrific things possible. about somebody who is trans, be like as insulting and mean as she can possibly be, justify it by saying, well, this person disagrees with me politically, so they're just an awful human being, so they like any horrible thing I say about them is justified. And then it turns out that the things she was saying are completely false, and that person has enough of a platform and an audience to defend themselves, and she gets forced to do your average YouTuber apology, which goes something like this.
This month, so am I. We are basically at the same point in our transition, yet the internet and myself have participated in this like false juxtaposition between me and Riley that I was a real trans person. Riley was a fake trans person. And the truth is, we're almost at the exact same point in our transition. And I'm someone who's had my transition picked apart online. There have been Reddit threads and 4chan threads with hundreds of comments on it of people trying to prove that I'm not trans because I haven't done this or that, or, you know, digging up my old pictures. And, you know, I'm a strong person, I'm a happy person, but to sit here and pretend like it doesn't affect me at all would just be a lie. So the thought that this entire time I've done that exact same thing to someone else.
I like the cut. And then she's got the tears in her eyes. I like to think that she cut there because she had to stop and put some, like, contact solution in her eyes, like some eye drops, so her eyes would look all wet and teary, and then, like, resume the take, and that's why there's a cut there, and then all of a sudden she's, like, red-eyed and crying out of nowhere.
And push that off on someone else. Fucks with me. And I'm fucking sorry. From my perspective, knowing what it takes to transition, the tens of thousands of dollars it takes to save up for these surgeries, to take that plunge and to step into that is difficult. And to know that at the time, this is getting kind of hard to film and I'm fucking frustrated. Having gone through that myself and knowing that Riley went through that and that during the process of Riley.
Now, Blair has done several apology videos like this after, you know, basically vitriolically insulting somebody who was physically capable of defending themselves within the online sphere. She's always forced to do something like that. But the vast majority of the time, especially nowadays, she is going up against targets with far less ability to speak for themselves than her. And so, you know, she basically hunts for the weak now, as far as like internet platform clout terms are concerned. And that is why we're going to go over her most recent video, which is, quote, "I'm not stronger than a woman," unquote, says literal trans Hulk, with 512,000 views in just a month. Now, I could obviously go on listing examples of Blair White telling extremely dangerous and awful lies that she didn't get caught for. One of my favorite being when she claimed trans women could not get cervical cancer and then showed a link to the Canadian Cancer Society entry about cervical cancer in trans women, but then specifically cut off the part where it says actually trans women can get cervical cancer if they've had bottom surgery and need to get checked for it just as regularly as a cis woman would, because it didn't fit into the narrative Blair wanted to push that trans women aren't real women, even if they've gotten bottom surgery. So the idea that they, just like cis women, have to go get like checked for cervical cancer would not be a good thing for her to admit. So she hid it. Unfortunately for Blair, I Googled that exact website, found the exact page she screenshotted, and found the exact line where she had cut the screenshot and actually showed you guys what the rest of the Canadian Cancer Society's article said in regards to cervical cancer and bottom surgery, and, you know, proved that she was deliberately lying and misediting medical documents in order to push very dangerous misinfo for the grift. And she never got caught or called out for that one by anyone but me, by the way. Like, that never was like a big drama or a thing that she had to deal with, was the whole lot, like her lying and saying that trans women can't get cervical cancer, even with bottom surgery. Yeah, that she never, like, that never was something she had to answer for. Like, I'm the only one, as far as I know, who's called that out. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate. But, you know, the internet has essentially allowed for some of the worst people imaginable to build a huge audience and create basically a cult of personality and monetize themselves massively. It's one of the biggest setbacks that the internet has, sort of inflicted upon our society. I just realized this video is 33 minutes long, and it's a Blair White video, and it's going to be very annoying. So we're going to turn it up to 1.5 speed, and if you can't keep up, then you're just going to have to get good.
I'm offended by how stupid that was.
Wait, no way. Is she doing live stream segments now? Or is she trying to, like, pretend she's doing a podcast? Also, why is she doing the gamer knee? Am I allowed to do the gamer knee on stream now? I always avoid sitting improperly when I'm on stream, but can I do the gamer knee? Because this is way more comfortable. I don't know why, but, like, I just always feel more comfortable, like, sitting, not quite like L from Death Note, but, like, halfway there. It's just comfy. Okay, we'll do the gamer sit. We're sitting the same way. It's like me and Blair are having a convo. Bi sitting. Well, all bi people can't sit, but not all people who can't sit are bi. There's a difference.
I'm actually offended. You will be hearing from my lawyer, Afton. This was an assault on me.
The lawyer.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to react to a video that the Blair White Army, high-ranking members of the Blair White Army have assured me is going to make me spiral and or rage. This is a Jubilee trans athlete debate. So the setup is 3 trans athletes and 3 cis athletes, and they're debating if trans women have an advantage in sports. Spoiler alert, they do.
If you truly believe that trans women have an advantage, even with hormones, then that means you truly believe that trans men have a disadvantage, even with hormones.
Yes. Glad we already figured it out about 30 seconds into the...
One of my favorite things was a comment that came up as like the top comment on her video. This one, it's a pro Blair White fan, obviously, said, trans men in caps choosing to participate in a sport where they themselves are disadvantaged is not harming anyone but themselves. Trans women choosing to participate, no caps on the choosing, by the way, just saying choosing, to participate in a sport where they are unfairly advantaged harms everyone besides themselves. The logic here is that, well, it's okay if trans men join just to fail going up against cis men. We don't mind that. It's the trans women who are the enemy here. Because remember, this audience in particular is like the very like hyper true scum, like only a few trans people are like good enough pick-me's to be allowed to exist. So they're very like picky and choosy on what trans people are like allowed to do certain things. So it's not surprising to me that these people are unironically pro-trans men being able to compete in the like category they choose, but not trans women, because it's the trans women that are the scary boogeyman we need to fearmonger about.
Debate.
Good
job. That's how it works. Like literally. Right.
So the argument that you hear most of the time is against trans women. So does that mean that you're okay
Oh,
with
you're right. She's aping Brett Cooper. You're right. She's trying to do... So for those who don't know, Brett Cooper is that Daily Wire host that like gets paid millions of dollars a year to like talk in a set that's made to look like a bedroom, but it's not actually a bedroom. It's literally a Daily Wire set in the Daily Wire offices, and it's made to look like she's in her bedroom streaming and recording videos like at her home, but she's literally like, it's all just a set. It's all just her trying to put off that vibe. You guys don't know about that. Did you guys not know about that? It's literally a set.
trans men having that disadvantage?
What does that even mean? Are you okay with trans men having the disadvantage? Like, is it about me being okay or not okay with it? Or is it about observing?
So the fact is that the online right has been completely inconsistent and just downright deranged and uninformed on their policy and rhetoric around this for a long time. Notoriously, there was the so there was a transgender wrestler. He's a trans dude named Mac Beggs who was forced to wrestle against girls because he's a trans guy. And if you like, the famous image that came out of it was this one. This is him. He's a trans dude. Just choking the shit out of this cis woman because he's a dude. This is a dude here that is being forced to wrestle women. Here's the thing, though. This imagery is in no way beneficial to the rights narrative. Blair White wants you to believe that trans men competing against women are at a massive disadvantage, or trans men competing against men are at a massive disadvantage in some way. But in reality, this is the outcome that occurs if you force trans men to wrestle against the sex they were assigned at birth, in many cases. Here's the thing, though. Because this was so unfitting for their narrative, but this image is so provocative, do you know what the right did? They basically played the, well, we can't hide this story, so let's get out in front of it. And what they did, I shit you not, was pass this image around and claimed that he is a trans woman who has been allowed to wrestle cis women. And then they shared the photo around Twitter and other social media claiming that's what was happening here. Instead of the very easy to Google real story of trans man forced to wrestle cis women, they flipped it to completely rewrite history and try to add this to their roster of made up stories where trans women are dominating cis women in sports. I still see this pic floating around with that context. Yeah, they're desperate. They are so desperate to cover up the actual true story behind this. Matter of fact, let's go ahead and read a little bit of it. Transgender wrestler Mac Beggs identifies as a male. He just won the Texas State Girls title. Booed and bloody, Mac Beggs dropped to his knees to celebrate. He was, after 4 wins in 2 days and all the rest, a state champion. In a 12-2 victory against Chelsea Sanchez in the 110-pound classification, Beggs ended a highly controversial and dramatic weekend by becoming the first transgender participant to win a Class 6A girls state championship in Texas high school wrestling. I just witnessed my sport change, a longtime Texas wrestling coach said moments after Beggs, a 17-year-old junior at Trinity High in Euless, whose transition from girl to boy began 2 years ago and now includes testosterone injections, won a championship. The victory was seen as equal parts unavoidable, quick, and noticeably strong. He entered the tournament unbeaten in 52 matches against girls and contentious. The University Interscholastic League, which oversees sports in Texas public schools, ordered Beggs to continue competing in the girls division despite heavy uproar and a lawsuit earlier this month in a Travis County District Court. So basically what Mac did was, after trying to fight it in court and desperately trying to win the legal battle, just did malicious compliance and just put in his all and won the fuck out of it and made it a huge story, an example of the negative outcomes that these anti-trans policies are going to have. The right's response is to try to say, actually, that's a photo of a trans woman competing against girls. They're completely soulless. They don't care about the truth. All they care about is trying to push a narrative that benefits their own worldview.
Bring objective reality. Are you okay with the sky being blue? Are you okay with some animals eating plants and some animals eating meat? Are you okay with the fact that jet fuel does not melt steel beams? No. My name.
So I guess she doesn't believe that 9/11 happened. Is that how far into the conspiracy hole she is? I literally watched a video on Reddit today of a guy with a blowtorch and some jet fuel proving that wrong. He literally used a blowtorch full of jet fuel to melt an anvil. It's a 7-year-old video. Dude. Yeah, Alex Jones did something to her brain. Bro, hold on. I guess Blair White thinks that gender, she literally tries to use, oh, I bet you believe that jet fuel can melt steel beams as a gotcha against the left and trans people. Meanwhile, 7 years ago, this guy on YouTube, for the undying 9/11 moronic jet fuel argument. Here's a steel anvil.
So I am taking time out of my busy day to try to put to rest one of the more moronic things I have seen on the internet lately, and that's saying something. Through my Facebook feed, I saw yet again that old tired argument, that question. Jet fuel only burns at 1,500 degrees, and since steel melts at 2,700.
Guys, I've literally made a backyard forge out of a trash can and refractory cement and a little bit of KO wool, okay? And then filled it with charcoal, lit it on fire, and blew a goddamn a leaf blower in there to get lots of air blowing through. I then used a steel steel, like I sawed a old fire extinguisher in half. I made sure it was steel with a magnet and everything, and it fucking melted the steel completely to liquid into the bottom of the forge. It didn't work as a proper crucible because it fucking melted. You can melt steel with charcoal and wind.
100 degrees. 9/11 was a conspiracy. I am so sick and tired of this argument. Now, I am not going to make any claims to what did or did not happen. If it was a conspiracy, I do not care. What I am upset about is the retarded metallurgical things that you guys are saying. I'm not arguing the facts. Jet fuel does in fact burn at 1500 degrees. Steel will start melting, some carbon steels, at 2300 degrees. But if you hold this up as a reason for conspiracy, you are an idiot. This is a
Now, I want you to imagine a building that has basically become a furnace because it's a skyscraper and there's now a bunch of wind blowing through it, and there's an entire skyscraper on top of what's been, like, blown up. Obviously, those steel beams are going to be destroyed, and it's going to collapse. So yeah, like Lauren, or not Lauren Southern, I'm sorry. All the conservative trad women are the same to me. Blair is just many shades of stupid. Many shades of bimbo.
My name's Jing, and I've been swimming for 11 years. Hi, I'm Lexi. I've been playing indoor volleyball for 7 years. I've been playing beach volleyball for 3 years.
My name is Afton. I play women's flat track roller derby, and I've been playing since the
Roller derby. Of all sports, not roller derby. Okay, so even if you're one of these people that are demented enough to, say that like some sports should be off limits, but sports like swimming or whatever are fine. Like, it's okay for Leah Big Ass Thomas to be swimming. Even if you want to go there.
One thing that she likes to do in all of her videos is insult trans people's appearances. Like, she's literally cried in apology videos while apologizing for this, but continues to do it in every video. It's just a thing she does. And Vine Boom sound effect, because I guess you're supposed to be horrified by the trans person.
I hope and I pray that there is not one person in the comment section that's really going to, with a straight face, defend trans women in roller derby. Like the most high impact, you're literally just beating people up sport.
I mean, I genuinely don't care. If you're going to join roller derby, you're doing it because you know you're going to get the shit beaten out of you. If you're in a contact sport, you're doing it with the knowledge you're going to get the shit beaten out of you. So, like, why are we not allowing people in because they might be too good? What? The logic doesn't really hold up that much when you think about it. She's basically just trying to say women are these fragile little delicate flowers and we have to protect them. Even in the sport they joined that's all about beating the shit out of each other on roller skates.
Okay, so right off the bat, right at the beginning, they're all lined up. The trans side lost the debate already just by allowing themselves to stand there in frame. Afton, with the green hair, is so big.
So the funny thing is, I feel like before we've even gotten into, like, 3 minutes into the video, I've already destroyed Blair White's, like, reputation, her, like, ability to be seen as an honest actor or rhetorician, and on top of that, her entire argument. But the funny thing is, her entire, like, every single point she's going to make in this video is just going to be, hey, look, the trans side already lost because look how ugly they are. Am I right? Am I one of the good transes now, guys? Please accept me. Please accept me. For some reason, a fair amount of her fans do seem to accept her. A lot of them are probably chasers, to be fair. A lot of them.
That their head is not fitting in the lighting they have on set. Afton's head are literally and physically in the clouds here.
I can't believe they let trans women participate in women's chess. That's my favorite example of where the right has forced, like, the trans bans, is in professional chess. Ah, yes. You see, men have chess muscles that women just can't grow. They can't grow those chess muscles. It's impossible. Chess is also a very high contact sport, I don't know how much more of this I can take. I genuinely don't. We're only 3 minutes in, and she's not really making any arguments. It's just going to be her insulting the appearance of trans people now. Like, we've gotten through all of the actual, like, arguments and points she's going to make. All these videos are always, like, 2 minutes of her making the argument that she wants to make, and the rest of it is just them insulting trans people's appearances, which, like, I don't know how you want me to respond to other than insulting Blair's appearance, and I've got a feeling that there will be a decent portion of my own audience that wouldn't appreciate that. Yeah, Zan, IDK, if I can take much more of this, TBH, Blair really is nail on a chalkboard annoying. Like, she's just... It's astonishing me that people watch her. It really just must be, like, the desire to have somebody repeat beliefs you already have, but they're, like, part of the minority group you hate. Like, it's the same kind of phenomena I feel that, like, I and many other teenage boys experienced back during the Gamergate era, when this, like, explosion of like, so-called feminist women who were actually really pro-male rights or whatever came along, and they ended up all being TERFs and, like, alt-righters and anti-feminists. But, like, when you're a teenage boy, the idea of a woman saying that you're actually oppressed and have it really tough is really appealing. And it's just, it's one of the easiest grifts on YouTube, is to, like, be an adult, attractive woman making videos telling teenage boys that they're oppressed. Like, it's absurdly profitable. Easy grift. It's 4chan pick-me's who hate themselves, who project their own self-hatred onto others. Those true scum types with 4chan brainworms are the only ones who can stomach her. Yeah, that's true. She'll always be the queen of those people. You're completely right. It doesn't really matter how much, like, how vitriolic and how disgusting her lies get when that 4chan, like, TTT crowd loves her. Like, what... Do you guys have any good, like, links to good, like, screenshots of TTTT... I think I got it right. Posts that are just beyond deranged and insane, and give a good, like, idea of what that community is like, because that's literally the community that follows Blair White, and I feel it's important for you guys to get a little bit of insight into what they're like. Not trouble in terrorist town, no. So a lot of the posts will go something like this, but many of them are, like, vitriolic rants about, like, other trans people and themselves, even putting themselves down. But you'll notice here they do enjoy using the T slur a lot here. Be me, 18, male to female, boy motor. Go to Starbucks every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Never make conversation with anyone, usually just mobile order and leave. Average 4chan using trans person. Today, barista starts talking to me while making my drink. Tells me, not many trans girls drive lifted pickups. Good on ya. How the fuck did he know I was a T-slur? I've been boy-moding since I started E. My Starbucks app is even set to my dead name. I give zero indication that I'm trans, and this Starbucks barista just busted me for being a T-slur. Yeah, there are a lot of schizo posts, but most of them are just, like, really sad, like this one. A lot of them are, like, bizarre, horny fan fiction as well. Probably posted by chasers and not trans people. Here's a post. Trans girls belong with trans girls. Only another trans girl can emotionally understand and sexually satisfy a trans girl. Be half white and half black T-slur. Live away from home for uni. Mom called me all of a sudden. She said my dad got released from jail. Haven't seen dad since I was a kid. She told me that she told him that I'm a T-slur now. Mom told me he reacted extremely poorly to it and had a violent outburst. She said afterwards he went out for hours to cool off but was still in a bad mood. He blamed my mom for babying me but told her if he saw me then he'd straighten me up really quick. He said it's also probably my uni brainwashing me with this bullshit. He said no child of his will be on that F-slur shit, and told her to tell me to drop out and come home. Mom told me not to come home this year because there's a real chance he will hurt me. It's ogre. I'll never see mom ever again, and I just want to go home, and I have to no home to go back to. So that one's just straight up sad. Like, a lot of these posts are just straight up teenage trans people, maybe young adult, in this community posting about how fucked up their life is and how, like, awful their circumstances are. Meanwhile, being, like, groomed by older trans people that are, like, massive true scum, like, depressed degenerates into, like, bigotry. That's pretty much what that community is. And Blair White has been, and probably for a long time will be, the queen of that community. It's important to get a good, like, insight into, you know, how deep this stuff goes.